Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Jill Gaumet, health explorer and friend of AHA Halo. And I'm happy to have with me today Dr. Perry Nicholson, who everybody knows as Dr. Perry on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and many other platforms, as well as on his site, stopchasingpain.com. He's a chiropractic physician with nearly 30 years of experience in treating chronic pain and inflammation. His niche is fluid dynamics of the lymphatic and vascular systems. His mission is to educate and empower people so they can live a life free from chronic pain. This is really important because nowadays I just saw something from the CDC, but it was from 2024, that nearly a quarter of adults in the US alone suffer from chronic pain. And Lord knows what they're doing to deal with it.
Right.
Fantastic. And from what I heard, Dale, your in-depth understanding of the interconnectedness of the body and mind. You've created the body ecosystems algorithms, which will be interesting to hear about, which is a self-treatment program whose sole purpose is to help people gain control of their lives from chronic pain.
Well, I've been in this health field for 30 years. I've been through a lot of stuff, and if you kind of go back through what you read, a lot of it initially was the traditional kind of approaches to pain. A lot of movement-based therapies, even nutrition-based things that I was doing, and of course the chiropractic that I got my degree in, which I can't even believe it's 30 years ago now. It feels like yesterday. And they were all really helpful in, helping other people heal. But they didn't work for me anymore when I became really sick, when I became really ill. So it's at that moment that I started to look at other approaches to. I was thinking to myself, well, why in the world is this stuff that's supposed to work not working? And I got very curious, honestly, and a lot of the curiosity was out of necessity because I was really in a bad place. And I said, I got to think completely different here because what I'm doing right now is just not the road that I need to be on. And that's what led me to look at the different systems approach to the body, which I'll be happy to talk about today. And that's the discovery of the lymphatic system, which I do a ton of work with. And that led me to the bioenergetic side of healing as well. From the scalar energy to the frequency energy to the rife things and to the spooky two and to the aha, all those things, those just developed over the years after I kind of say it like this, really learned how the body works. That's exactly what I teach people now is that if you're not getting the results that you want to get in your healing journey, you have to think different.
Yeah,
That
you got to
that's
go
really
out of
where
the
it
box.
starts. Yeah, so I honestly I stopped thinking like a Jerry, you probably know Dr. Jerry Tennant. He does a lot of
Yeah.
work in the bioenergetic field as well. And he said you have to start thinking like an electrician, yeah, like an electrician slash engineer and somebody who knows physics as opposed to biology, because that's really what it comes down to is energy. So you have to
Yeah.
understand how energy works. And see, I love to link different approaches to healthcare because I studied Eastern medicine a lot and Ayurvedic medicine a lot. And they talk about chi, they talk about energy and flow. But listen, I think we're all kind of saying the same thing. We're using different words. We're talking about meridians, and in Western medicine, we talk about fascial connections, which they know transmits force and energy. And in Eastern medicine, they talk about chi, which is blood,
Yeah.
the blood. And that's the stuff that I look at is just fluid flow in the body. And that's what clicked for me, honestly, because it made total sense. Because I had to look at the physics of fluid flow
Mhm.
and energy flow in order to figure out why my body was hitting these blocks that I just couldn't get through. And when I found the lymphatic system and I started to study the fluid system of the body, everything just started to come and feel better because I'm like, this is it. This is what I've been searching for. And, I didn't really find it in chiropractic, honestly. Because chiropractic involves a lot with mobilizations and manipulations, and you can move pretty much any bone in the body through what's called an adjustment or a manipulation, typically spinal ones. And we do a lot of soft tissue work as well, like you saw the stuff that you were reading from my training. And but it just didn't do it for me for what I
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I have a cousin who's a chiropractor, and she's turned into a life coach over the years, and she's had some amazing uh, health stories from some of some of the people who meditate with her. And I mean, Matt, recovery from almost at the deathbed type recovery. So yeah, and so she gets it too. I think
Yeah.
she hasn't stopped doing the manipulations and stuff at her practice, but she's definitely put that down on the side, because I think that there's a growing realization that we are definitely energy beings, right? And so we have to start looking in that way. What's interesting is that because you're so focused also on the fluid part of it, the fluid dynamics. The first thing that comes to my mind, you talked about an electrician. I'm thinking plumber.
Why are so many people suffering chronic pain? Why are so many people suffering from chronic inflammation, autoimmune disease? Those numbers are going up. They're not going down, even
Mhm.
though technology is going up and research is going up. They're not equal. They're not equalizing out here. So then you have to think to yourself, uh, what are they missing?
Yeah. So what do you think are the causes?
Well, I think one, because we're living in a world that you just can't escape, that has a lot of toxicity in it from what we as humans just produce, that you get exposed to, that you can't avoid, uh, you know, chemical stressors. And then you have the emotional stressors. I mean, it's a world today, honestly, especially in the West, that's just built on stress. Go, 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 more, 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 harder, faster, stronger, longer, bigger is better. Pain is weakness leaving the body. Don't quit no matter what. And if you spend any time on social media, you're going to be an inflamed hot mess, because all those things, just what they do is that they put you in a state of chronic, incessant, never ending stress. It's sympathetic dominance, hypervigilance, hyperarousal, hang on for dear life and don't die mode that this modern world keeps you locked in. And that's what's making people sick. That's what's making people inflamed. That's what's breaking them down, because you physiologically and metabolically and emotionally cannot stay in that state for an extended period of time, or you will break down. And I tell people that all the time, is that you can only heal when your body gets into a rest and recovery, healing, relaxation, parasympathetic mode. And
Yeah.
we're hardly ever there. One, it's honestly because you get so much stimulation if you just jump on the device that's in your hand. It's made to keep your light on, like you're just always on. One of the first things that I ask people is, sometimes they're doing 500 biohacks that they've seen on Instagram. And then I ask them a simple question of, are you drinking water?
Yeah.
Like hydration. And I'm flabbergasted at how often I don't have a number that they can give me, or and I say that if you're dehydrated, no therapy in the world is going to work for you. Even
What,
the
what,
energetic stuff, when you put energy in the body through frequencies, you need hydration for that to work.
what's a good quantity of water to have? I mean, they used to say 8 glasses. We don't know how big those glasses are, but yeah, 8 glasses of water a day. let's say ounces, and I don't know if you speak in liters as well, but that might be helpful
Yeah,
for
with
people.
my work, I always kind of tongue in cheek say everything when say how much water. I usually will tell people more than you're drinking now, basically, and less of everything else because that has variability to it as well. It depends on the individual, the size of the individual, medications that they're taking. Also, what kind of water? Because water's not water.
Yeah.
Many people are drinking water out of plastic bottles, and now we know that there's microplastics that they're finding in human beings all the time from all of those things.
I
So,
think I'm
but
getting my
here's
credit card a day here in China.
yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, even when you get into that world, everything is always so overwhelming and complicated. Like you said before, it's like, I want to drink water. And then when you get in to look at water, you have 15 people telling you different waters to drink and no, do it this way and don't do it that way. And you're like, you're stressing me out about water. And
Yeah.
the very stress of all of that, like you alluded to before, keeps you sick because you're overloaded. And the one thing that I've learned in my years of treating people in chronic pain, it's one of the biggest things that I learned from studying light energy and light treatment, is that you can put too much energy into the body. And the body has to be able to absorb the energy that you're putting into it. And if you're dehydrated, you're not going to do very well at that. But that's a dosage to it. So many
Mm.
you can overdo light therapy to where you actually cause the cells to inhibit, where they stop
Mm.
changing, they stop growing. And that's what happens when you do too many therapeutic biohacks or stuff like that at the same time, because when you're really sick like this for a long period of time and you're very sensitive to things, your nervous system and your immune system in particular, but all the systems are overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So they're very easy to overwhelm. And when you overwhelm them, they either push back on you really hard and make you worse, or they double down and they don't change at all.
Okay.
And then what happens is most people say, oh, well, I'm not changing. That means I need to do more. And it's
Mm.
the exact opposite. Do you know you have to go back to your basics and your fundamentals?
I'm curious, what program are you on right now?
Yeah, I love the one. I do abdominal one, the support one a lot.
What
Uh,
the pathways or
well, I have, let's see where it is. Where is it? Yeah,
it,
I have abdominal discomfort on there.
okay.
Um, and just because I do so much work with the visceral organs of the body. And most people, when they come in to see me, have a lot of lymphatic stagnation in the abdomen and very poor blood flow in the abdomen. And this I like.
How does it manifest? They come
Stress.
in stress. No, but okay, so they're stressed, but I mean, does it physically manifest as well in the abdomen?
Yeah, physically and emotionally. So, physically, let's go over how it manifests in the abdomen. Because when you're under stress, you increase your sympathetic nervous system, and your sympathetic nervous system controls blood flow in the body. So,
Mhm.
when you're in fight or flight all the time, you actually decrease blood flow to your organs. And that you're supposed to do that when you're in fight or flight. But here's the rub: you're not supposed to stay in fight or flight. That that's you're supposed to come out of it.
It's supposed
So
to be
then
90 seconds, right?
yeah, so then the blood flow can come back, and then that's when you go eat. That's the parasympathetic nervous system. They call that wine, dine, feed, breed. I can drink, I can eat, I can socialize, I can have sex. You're not going to do that if you're running from a tiger, right? You can't do that. So what you do is day after day, week after week, year after year, you slowly choke off the only a way that any nutrient gets into the cells, and that's through blood flow. So you choke blood flow in and you choke blood flow you choke blood flow out, and that's veins. So that area becomes very stagnant. And you also have lymphatic stagnation at the same time. So everything just pools there. And then that's when you have stagnant water, you have stagnant pools of anything in nature. What do you find in there?
There was some
Yucky,
mosquitoes, but
yucky muck, bad stuff. Like you don't
yeah.
want to drink it, you don't want to go near it because it's going to kill you. And that's what happens inside of you. And then we hold stuff emotionally in the body. That's called the emotional gut brain connection in here. You have that metaphor of like you felt like you got kicked in the gut. And I find everybody holds emotional tension and trauma and shock in the abdominal visceral region. And another reason you hold it there is when you are in fight or flight, you automatically hold more tension throughout the entire body. And tension decreases fluid flow because
Okay.
everything's too tight.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. It's constricting. Okay.
And when you're in, let's say, if you're in a state of fight or flight and you're being overwhelmed and you feel like you just need to protect yourself and curl away from the world, what position do people usually get in?
Fetal.
Correct. So what happens is you crunch in subconsciously. And the greatest tension is right in the center of the abdomen when you're in the fetal position.
Okay.
And if you are in that mode for years, that's when chronic disease comes knocking at your door.
Okay. And a lot of people don't even realize it.
No, they don't because it's like the fish that doesn't know what's in water. It's like, what's
Yeah.
water? Because
Yeah.
what it is your body is it's a magical vessel that's designed to adapt to its environment. So what
Okay.
happens is you adapt to the misery and you don't even see the misery anymore until you get more misery. Or somebody shows you a little bit of joy, then you realize just where you've been for so long. And why it's so hard to get out of it is because of that fact. Your body adapts and it establishes habits and patterns that it's been in for a long period of time. And it's difficult to break those patterns, particularly survival patterns.
Yeah, no, I've been through that. I'm sure. I don't know if you've been through it. I know I have, and it's
Yeah,
and but once you get through, oh my God, it's so liberating.
it really is. And that's why when I started to do the energetic work, and I had moments where I was just still and quiet because I was always go, go, go. And that's a strategy of my body of just keep going, Perry. Don't rest because if you rest, I'm really gonna hit you. So you just keep kind of running, you know? And it was even hard to describe what I was feeling the first time when I began to use, because I have the whole Spooky 2 system upstairs. I have the
Yeah.
Scalar. I got everything. So I mean, my whole house is lit up. Uh, but it really made a difference for me in how I felt and my healing because I suffered. Two things made the greatest impact on me when I was sick. Doing lymphatic work for the first time brought me out of the quicksand when I had just a handout, but I was about to go under. And then I got into the bioenergetic work, the scalar energy and the frequency energy. Uh, so the other stuff helped, like of course nutrition, because it's best. But I'd like for you to eat healthy and not crappy. That's also a great first start. And then how about you try to surround yourself with people that are not toxic? That's always a good strategy because if you go back to a toxic environment of people that you're around, it's very difficult to get out of it. That's the energetic pull of negativity that can get you. But I mixed the lymphatic work with the bioenergetic work, and that's what brought me back honestly. Yeah, and then
Oh,
now I do programs for lymphatics. Like I have the spooky tooth thing. I've got a lot of lymphatic programs in there because that's the system that was the most toxic for me.
and we're gonna have to get maybe, yeah, deeper and deeper down to, yeah, more, emotional issues and things like that. I don't know. Do you have a protocol that you've kind of created for yourself or for other people with this?
Yeah, something similar like that because you're dealing with a human being, right? You're not dealing with just tissues of the body. So when by the time people find me, they've been sick for a long time. I'm not the first person you see. I'm usually the last one. And that's honestly by design because I do take difficult cases, tough cases that they've tried everything else to get better and it hasn't worked better. And then they're finally ready to say, okay, I'll go see this guy because I've tried everything else. And they're a little bit more open to some of the treatments that I do. But yeah, there's always an emotional component to every person that comes in to see me for pain because they've been in pain or have been suffering for so long. So that's a big piece of it. So I'll target, for instance, where their pain might be. Like if they point to their shoulder, I'll certainly work on the shoulder and I'll treat the shoulder and I'll do stuff to it with the energy and even with light and the stuff that I do by hand. But I know that's not the answer a lot. They do very well with the energy, honestly, because they've never had that before from a lot of people. So that's their first exposure to, holy cow, that I definitely feel a difference with that. So that's been very powerful because they usually had everything you could possibly think of done to whatever hurts, including surgery and medications and all sorts of that, but they've never had energy type of treatments. But my whole business name is called Stop Chasing Pain. And you don't have just the shoulder. The shoulder is attached to the rest of the body and the brain. And so I actually do a lot of work with the stuff very close to the head. And I get to a lot of emotion-based programs for people. And yeah, a lot of those.
Could you tell me a little bit about which ones you use? Because again, what's interesting about the AHA Halo community is I'm a little bit more on the Facebook group than I am with the forum because the Facebook group, I mean, it's like everybody's dumping into that one. And
Yeah.
you've got, yeah, I've tried this and I've tried this and, and people are
Mhm.
suggesting protocols and this body of knowledge is increasing. And so I would like to know what would you contribute to that body of knowledge?
Yeah, I mean, I have one in here. I like the relaxation program a lot. I do anything that will help target the autonomic nervous system for you. And
Okay.
that's another reason why Song of the Spine is probably a top three for me.
Okay.
The reason being is because your sympathetic fight or flight nervous system lives in the spine. So I need to tame the inflammation that's settled in the spine down. And so I have the relaxation one and the seven chakras. I
The seven chakras. Fantastic.
Yeah, and the reason I love the seven chakras is because here's really cool. They're energetic regions, right? When you look at the chakras. But every single one of those regions anatomically is a huge gathering point in Western medicine for fascia, nerve, blood flow, and lymph. They all gather in those central regions. And those are areas of massive tension and stagnation. So when they're talking about chakras in Eastern medicine, they were onto something because physiologically, they're the most powerful places in the body, honestly.
Okay, fantastic. So, how about run times or numbers of cycles or things like that? Or do you integrate it into something? Do you have rest periods? I mean,
Yeah, in my work, I usually introduce stuff very slowly because people are sensitive, kind of like we mentioned before. I usually only start off with a couple of cycles in the beginning because I need to get a read on their tolerance level of
mhm.
stimulation. Uh, I've had it to where some people can get too much. And you have to find that I always call it the Goldilocks syndrome when they say not too cold, not too hot, just right.
Mm,
And
yeah.
you kind of know that for individuals, right? But when people are in seeing me for a treatment, so they come into my office, that I have the uh, halo running when they come in to see me through some different cycles when they're there.
Okay.
So they
Okay.
actually physiologically will have the that near them when they're getting my manual treatments or my light treatment and stuff like that. And I actually have people come in and they say, Doc, I really love coming in here because as soon as I cross through the room, I just feel a difference. And I said, that's by design to make my office a place of that healing type of energy so they can escape the craziness on the outside and all the
Mm.
stuff that we just mentioned that's coming at you 24/7.
And yeah, so going back to the AHA Halo, is there anything that you saw? What was like the most dramatic thing that you've noticed with the AHA Halo?
That's a really good question. The one was a sleep one. That's sleep. So because sometimes I still have a difficult time sleeping for me because my brain is just kind of always going because I'm not because I'm stressed, because I really get excited and I love what I do and I'm thinking about what's coming up tomorrow. You follow? And I said, you know what? They got some great sleep programs in here. So I would put the sleep programs, I can see if I can find it in here,
Free?
and run that. Yeah, they got the good sleep here. It's not, you can't see it, but,
Yeah.
and I was running those and oh my goodness, imagine this. I had a good night's sleep. And it's right, next to my bedside there. So I have this running there, and in my bedroom on either side, I have the Spooky 2 cases
Oh
and the
yeah.
Scalar, and then I run a program there through my generator there. So I've got that, and then I have this, and I usually goes with me wherever I am. So I take it with me to the car, and then I bring it with me when I go to the office. So.
Fantastic.
I
Oh.
don't use a sleep one at the office though, because I got to stay awake. But
Well, yeah, I mean, I think almost the frustrating thing for me that there are so many programs that I want to run all the time because it's like a kid in a candy shop. But it's just like, wow, I want to try this, want to try this one, try this one, and there's
yeah,
just
well, you know what was what really got me is I I did the first time the frequencies, and it was a sensation I never felt before. I felt buzzed. I'm like, what is this? It was just like it was energy is what I
yeah.
felt. And I jokingly tell people now, it's like, I felt like I got roofied or something. I was like really feeling good. And I just found myself, I said, I can't wait till I can do it again because I knew I needed to take a little bit of a break. But
Yeah.
it was such a wonderful uh, feeling because I hadn't felt energy like that in such a long period of time. And the greatest joy for me since I've been doing all this work is uh, getting my brain back, my mental faculties back. And then, of course, the greatest joy is I can share these things with others and I can help other people that are going through what I went through.